Yeah, I think we're several years away from that, Jacob.
I'm,
You have a look on your face that has me worried and very curious.
I'm very worried about the Overwatch League. I have been someone very tuned in to the business of this league since the very beginning. I am a noted pessimist in a lot of what happened in the first 2 years. So here's the thing. They had, at the time, the largest Twitch broadcasting rights deal ever. $45 million a year for 2 years. $90 million cash deal, right? That's excluding the marketing side of that and everything else that Twitch and the resources Twitch had to put.
So the $45 million was simply for Twitch to have the exclusive rights to Overwatch League on their platform?
On digital, yeah.
On digital, okay.
Or rather, obviously ESPN had some of it, ABC and Disney as well, but yeah, and also it included the whatever all access pass.
Okay.
And so we're removing the engineering and the marketing side of that deal. That is just the money. I would be flabbergasted if they came anywhere close to that. I would also be flabbergasted if the Houston Outlaws franchise that just sold, considering the company they sold to, which is a radio broadcasting small
Beasley,
media
is
company.
it?
Yeah, it's a smaller radio company. I would be shocked if it sold anywhere close to the $40 million that the previous guy wanted to buy it from, Lee Zeben, before he couldn't raise money. Bluffed a little bit there. I would be shocked if that team sold anywhere close to $40 million. I think there was a reason that number has not yet gotten out, and that would be because people don't want to talk about it because it's not as impressive. And honestly, here's the thing.
Can you guess? 10?
20.
20?
25.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, right? There's no way you equate, even with the Houston Outlaws being one of the most popular teams in the league, there's no way you can validate the Houston Outlaws being worth anything close to the Echo Fox slot or even worse, the Clutch Gaming, even worse for the Outlaws, the Clutch Gaming spot, which came with players.
Okay.
Both which were in that $30 to $33 million window, right? And even the Infinite acquisition, which was pretty down there too, considering it's Optic Gaming and the Outlaws. Here's the thing. That deal's up. The Twitch deal's up. ESPN deal's up. Reporting on my own company here. ESPN deal's up.
Is that a wolf bomb?
ESPN deal's up.
Yeah, sure is.
Franchise that just sold probably way below what Season 2 franchises sold, which is not good. So here's the thing. You took a game that was decent, I guess is the best way to describe Overwatch. It had a decent interest when it was pre-Overwatch League, right? In the year and a half or whatever when it was amateur. It was decent. Problem is, super difficult to watch, right? We look at games that are really easy to watch in esports like Counter-Strike, Rocket League,
Street Fighter.
Even Call of Duty, which is, Street Fighter. Fighting games and FPSs are super easy. Overwatch is this weird hybrid of FPS and MOBA in the way it plays, and therefore it's got this incredibly difficult thing to grasp. It is not easy for your end consumer, right? And so that's why I had problems on TV, among other things. You took this incredibly difficult game to understand. You inflated it through the roof. They were at one point last year that you had LEC franchises that were selling for that $10 million, $10.5 million range, a U.S. American dollar. And then you had Overwatch franchises 35, 40, 45. Yeah. And in no world did this make any damn sense, right? And now you look at it, and now it's time to show that it works. So my prediction, I've said this before, pretty sure I've written this before. In my opinion, there are 4 markets in America that make total sense right off the bat for Overwatch League. New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Atlanta. They're all regional hubs. You can find places to affordably stay in all of them. It may not be the best accommodations in New York and LA, but you can find somewhere. They are cheap to get to because they have major airports in all of those cases. They are regional hubs. New York is the Northeast. Atlanta is the Southeast. Dallas is the Southwest. And Los Angeles is the West Coast. There are a lot of people, just by raw numbers, who like video games in those cities. You have seen successful events happen in all of those cities, DreamHack Atlanta, DreamHack Dallas, various different grand finals over the years, and playoffs, worlds, etc. in New York. And obviously LA is the esports hub of North America. Those will work. Seoul also will work, because Seoul has and has had for almost 2 decades a culture of where you, sometimes free, but you get tickets and you show up to an event, because that is what South Koreans do for entertainment. Traditional sports is not as big in South Korea. Baseball is big, but besides baseball, traditional sports is not as big. Therefore, people entertain themselves with these sports, and that has been an ongoing part of culture. So the Seoul market makes a lot of sense. Don't know about China. I'm not super plugged into the cities and sort of their reception. I mean, we've seen Chinese events like the World Finals 2 years ago for League of Legends just be massive. So China makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But you have a bunch of teams that I'm just like, why does this make any sense? So I'm really interested. I think Toronto will be all right. Vancouver, I don't know. San Francisco is really expensive to go to. So if you're from out of town, it's hard to get there. And it's also expensive to stay there.
Well, kind of difficult because they're the reigning champions, so.
Right, and they're a popular team, but it's also a market that, like, it does have the tech people that work there, and many of them are gamers. So you have those people that will show up. But if you want to travel to San Francisco, stay in San Francisco for a weekend and go to enjoy a game, it's super expensive. It is not socioeconomically friendly. Houston, you know, so I think generally,
I think we're also getting your personal opinion on cities across America.
but like, no, I just don't I don't see. Okay, here's the thing. Here's my bottom line, and Tyler, I want your opinion on this too. I think the expectation for Overwatch was set way up here, right? I think where we're at right now is right here. This is make or break for me, because if we don't see it go well, I could see teams start turning over and selling again. We've already seen one, and it probably sold below what their Season 2 franchises were. So, I don't know. I am very pessimistic about this, and I think that there is a profound impact on esports if it doesn't work out, and that scares me.
Oh, definitely, and I agree. And if there's been a lot of speculation around how Tier 2 for League of Legends has similar pay to a lot of Tier 1 teams in Overwatch League. Not the highest paid players, but there's Tier 2 players in League of Legends on academy teams, and in the Challenger system and in regional leagues that make money similar to the players in Overwatch League. And I think it's as simple as looking, go to ESC charts, which is probably the best, source for, open public, viewership numbers when it comes to the Western scene in Korea, not China, because Chinese numbers are inflated online and it's impossible to actually find out, the actual numbers from China. But just look at the Vancouver versus San Francisco final. I believe that peaked at I think it was around 350,000 viewers online. And then it came into about 1 million if you added TV and some other outlets. The League of Legends semifinal between G2 and SKT, not counting China, which is by far League's biggest market, which is probably 90% of the viewership base, without TV, that had 4 million people watching online. So we're talking about 8 times as big as the Overwatch League final for that semifinal. And it wasn't the best time for every region, but it blew out the Overwatch League final. Go on Twitch right now and go look at the top streamers. You'll see League of Legends, you'll see Fortnite, you'll see PUBG, you'll see Grand Theft Auto. Scroll down to find the biggest Overwatch streamers. A lot of the big Overwatch streamers have become variety streamers. XQC, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch currently, who came from Overwatch, he's a variety streamer now. He barely plays Overwatch. Overwatch just does not have the interest in the general public to sustain a huge league, and it's not viewership friendly. It's not fun to watch for people who don't like Overwatch. If you don't know Overwatch and you watch what's going on, you have zero clue what's going on. So that's really what comes down to it. Fortnite might be confusing, but Fortnite's very popular. It has the player base to sustain a large viewership number because there's enough interest in Fortnite. Same with League of Legends, same with PUBG. Overwatch, not a big streamer game, not very popular when it comes to the general public. It's not a name that's in, if you go around the streets and ask about, Overwatch, a lot of people are not going to know what that is. If you bring up Fortnite, dads and moms are all knowing what Fortnite is. So just not a lot of public interest, not a lot of steam coming after season 2, which was a big letdown after, a successful season 1. And with the home and away series and, tickets still not sold and
millions
these
and
moves
millions of
people
dollars.
retiring, it's a do or die season for Overwatch League, and I want it to succeed. As I said, Overwatch League succeeding is good for ESPN Esports. I want to go to these events. I want to travel the world. I want to go to Guangzhou. I want to go to Seoul. I want to go to I want them to have teams everywhere because I want to go cover these teams, and it's good for everyone in the esports business. For Overwatch League, for Overwatch League to succeed because it's ambitious and they put a lot of money behind it. But looking to 2020, they're going to need a miracle.
Tyler Erzberger joining us in Los Angeles. We're actually going to talk Fortnite, the Fortnite Champions Series concluding this past weekend. NAE, Zexro, and Macwood among a team who came in second. They came in as the defending champions. We're going to talk with Zexro coming right up.